Hello and welcome to the Leading Lounge. I'm your host, Dr. Justin Dubose. Here in the Leading Lounge, we talk with today's leaders and unpack lessons learned and being learned from a career of leading and communicating in their field. These conversations are designed to be both informal and informative, and we want to equip you with wisdom and tools to empower you as a leader where you are and where you want to be. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 35 of the Leading Lounge. You made it to season 5. Last week we released our preview episode for this season, and starting here in episode 35, we're going to release our first leadership tips and tools episode for you, where we're going through a book, using that as a basis for our content to help you lead where you are, where you want to be, to help your teams. And if these episodes are helpful for you, share them, subscribe to them, because there's plenty more good content coming. But we're following this book. This is kind of the basis for these episodes. This book is called The Leadership Challenge. It's the 6th edition. And the tagline is how to make extraordinary things happen in organizations. So if you want to buy that book and follow along with these episodes, you're welcome to. There's a link in the description or in the show notes. If you just want to listen, that's fine too, because I'm going to take their content and basically kind of package it and synthesize it for you to make it more digestible, so you can listen to it while you're running or while you're driving or in between, if you're on a break from work or something like that. So you don't need the book, but there's a lot of really good content in there beyond what I can share in these leadership tips and tools episode. So the subject for today is how to envision the future and bring it to reality. And we're trying to make it simple and boil it down to 5 steps. What are 5 steps you can take to cast a vision for the future, to see the future that you want, and to make it a reality for you and your team and the people that you serve? I want to start by giving you a picture, okay? So I live in Houston, Texas, and every month I fly out to the Bay Area for work. I've been doing that for several years. And the Bay Area has a particular weather phenomenon, which is that because of its location, because of geographic and climate factors and other things, there's really dense fog at times, especially in the summer. And so you can be in these situations where you're driving a car and all of a sudden, bam, you hit this wall of fog and you can't see, 5 feet in front of you. And there's something that happens naturally. You don't have to do anything. Your body just does it when you run into a wall of thick fog like that. And it usually goes something like this. You slow down, less gas, more brake. You grip the steering wheel. You lean forward a little bit. You squint maybe to try to see what's in front of you. You become a lot more cautious. You become a lot more hesitant. You become a lot more reserved. You may even be one of those drivers that you put your flashers on because not only are you worried about running into something, you're worried about something else running into you. But it's something that happens when you can't see very far in front of you, where you slow down and you get a little more cautious and you get a little more perhaps hyper analytical of the things around you rather than seeing where you're going and going for it. So that's true with driving through conditions like dense fog. It's also true with leading your business or your organization or your team, or even recruiting others, or even boosting morale for those who are already there. Is if they can't see that far out in front of them, they can't just go for it, and you can't just go for it. You got to get more cautious. You got to get more hesitant. You got to get more reserved. You got to get a little more careful, and it makes it difficult. So I want to give you, for today's episode, 5 what I think are practical but sometimes difficult steps to take or questions to answer in envisioning the future for you specifically, who you are, where you are, how you are, and how to make that future come to reality. Okay, you ready? So get out your pens and papers if you want to take notes or type them into your phone or whatever. But here's the first one. First one's a question. And it's going to seem at first glance perhaps like an easy question to answer, or yeah, I've thought about that, but it's not. Don't skip over this one with light reflection. It's going to require some deep reflection on your part. And here's a question that only you can answer. Step one is, what are you passionate about? What are you passionate about? I think a lot of times people don't really know what they're passionate about. They just kind of take the road that's in front of them. Well, this road veered off to the right, so I just kind of veered off to the right rather than going, man, who am I? How am I uniquely made and built and equipped? And what just stirs a passion in me? What gets me out of bed in the morning? What keeps me excited to keep going back day after day? What's the thing where if I've got some dead space and some head space, I find myself thinking about, dreaming about, ruminating on? That's probably a decent indicator of what you're passionate about. As a leader, you got to know what gets you out of bed in the morning, what motivates you, what stirs something inside of you to keep going, because that passion is going to be the thing that sustains you when things get difficult, when the fog hits, right? When the road veers to the right or to the left, or any number of things happen, that passion is going to be the thing that sustains you to keep going and keep moving forward. In my case, and I didn't realize it until probably my mid 30s, maybe, was I realized, what I really, really love, what I'm really passionate about is serving and helping others who can genuinely benefit from it, right? I had all these things going on in my life, and I had never kind of connected the dots. And I realized that that passion to serve and help others, in particular, who can genuinely benefit from it, and subsequently who desire that really stirred me, right? That really stirred me. And so think about, what is it that you're passionate about? What are you passionate about? Ask people who know you, ask people who love you, ask people, family, friends who are a part of your life and could kind of speak into that. But step one is just answering the question, what are you passionate about? You may be doing something that doesn't align with your passion. You may be doing it because it's there. You may have had a great opportunity, and maybe it's a good short-term opportunity, but gosh, it's just not going to sustain you in the long term. So think about what it is that you're passionate about. I will say too, I think this is where a coach can come in handy. Is if you don't have a coach, I would love to help you kind of think through this question of, what are you passionate about? But you got to answer that question if you're going to envision the future and you're going to bring it to reality, and you're going to help others find a place to come alongside you and join you in animating that vision. So step one is answer the question, what are you passionate about? Step two, you got to go a little introspective here too, is you answer the question, what are the major themes in my life? And what do you find worthwhile? What do I find worthwhile? If you look back on your life, it can be short seasons, long seasons, it's going to be thematic, right? There's going to be some kind of DNA in there that, even with different seasons going on, you had some major themes that were present, right? So whether you're in your early 20s, whether you're just starting out in something, whether you've been at it for a while, whether you hit your first wall, whether you've got kids, whether you're single, seasons change, but these major themes are going to be there. And look back on your life and go, despite the different seasons that I've had, what's the theme there? What do I find worthwhile? What's who am I that keeps me motivated in all those things? And that's going to be connected to the first step of, what's your passion? So for me, in looking in retrospect, and again, I probably didn't really take the time to do this until probably my mid 30s, was I realized that despite all these variety of backgrounds that I had, military service, education, both going through education and being an educator, nonprofit work, ministry stuff, I realized that the major theme was, I loved that passion. I loved helping people. I loved serving people, and particularly those who could genuinely benefit from it. and who desired it. So early on, I would have tried to pigeonhole one of those particular avenues, whether it was church ministry, whether it was nonprofit work, whether it was education, whether it was military service, as that's kind of the major theme. But as I dug a little deeper, I found out no. The thing that I'm passionate about, serving and helping others who genuinely benefit from it, that's the thing. That's kind of the major theme, so that wherever I went, I found myself unconsciously doing that. You know, it wasn't as though I went somewhere trying to do that. That's the thing that drew me in there in the first place. And once I was in there, that's the thing that really made me excellent. That's what I had to offer that other people didn't have to offer. Was that was the major theme. Helping and serving people who could genuinely benefit from my experience, my expertise, my relationship. And that's what started Communicate to Care ultimately, was kind of that reflection. So step 2 is answer these questions. What are the major themes in my life, and what do I find worthwhile? A lot of times that's going to be connected to your passion, the step 1. Okay. So that's step 1, step 2, and step 3. Now we're going to get a little more present oriented instead of retrospective about the past. But step 3 is answer this question. What's going on right now? What's going on right now in my life and the lives of other people around me? You got to listen to other people to understand where they are, understand who they are, understand what gives them meaning and purpose, and understand what they're struggling with, right? When you do that, what's going to happen is you're going to begin to see an even deeper connection, right? It's going to go, the tentacles are going to spread even farther out that connect your passion, the themes of your life, to where other people are and what they're struggling with and what gives them meaning and purpose and who they are and where they are and how they are and all those things. So this, now we're turning a little bit of a corner from just being focused on you, the leader, to other people around you, whatever your context is. It could be, now we could be talking your team, enlisting others, could be talking potential clients or people that you serve, customers, if that fits your context. But is listen to other people and try to answer the question of what's going on right now. What's going on right now? Now, for me, I'll connect this again back to my story just to give you an example of how these things play out in reality. Is as I began to talk to other leaders, this is people in the military, this is people in education, this is business leaders, people in nonprofits and ministries, I started to see this pattern that these people are all struggling with a lot of the same things that I'm struggling with. They're struggling with their leadership. They're struggling with getting other people on board. They're struggling with good execution. They're struggling with morale. They're struggling with how do we do even better. They're struggling with kind of reaching the end of themselves and feeling as though, well, I've done all I can do. I can't do anymore. I got to quit. I got to give up. And I realized that I could connect my passion and the thing that God had given me that I was good at and had given me lots of experience in, lots of education, lots of expertise in, and I could help them. I could genuinely help them. So for Communicate to Care, once I got to step 3 of this process, that's really what birthed this whole organization, was looking around and going, man, there's a lot of people that really struggle with this. There's a lot of people that struggle with this. And I can now match my passion to other people's struggles. And when the two come together, we have a beautiful thing. We got a beautiful thing. And you're going to find the same thing in your case. Once you identify what it is you're passionate about and you identify these major themes and, what you find worthwhile that'll help kind of solidify, this is what I'm passionate about. And this is what I seem to find myself doing as you talk to and listen to others around you, market research, essentially in a business term, you go, man, I think I can do this. And this will start to help you envision the future of how can I connect step 1 and 2 to step 3, right? And then step 4 is spend a higher percentage of your time focused on the future and imagining the possibilities. Spend a higher percentage of your time focused on the future and imagining the possibilities. There's a phenomenon that I'm sure you've heard of. It's called the tyranny of the urgent. The tyranny of the urgent. And it basically means that you can't be future focused. You can't think too far ahead because those things that are right in front of you that are demanding your attention, they tyrannize your time, right? They demand that you respond to them. So you have all these present urgent things. And as a leader, if you're not careful, you can just spend your time basically like a fireman putting out all these fires without ever looking forward to the future. So I would encourage you to spend a higher percentage of your time focused on the future. Set aside some time in the morning if you're a morning person, right? Set aside some time on your lunch break to get off by yourself, wherever that is, even if it's just in your car in the parking lot or something, and spend a higher percentage of your time. If you're a night owl, set aside maybe 30 minutes even of your night and just think through, what does the future look like? Once I've gone through steps 1 and 2 and 3, how do I connect these things? How do I connect these things? Right? What am I doing? Who am I serving? And for what purpose? Are good questions to answer as you set aside the time to do that. So that's step 4, is just be disciplined to set aside a higher percentage of your time to be focused on the future and imagine the possibilities, right? And the last step, step 5, I'm going to say, is get some help in fleshing that out, right? Get some help in fleshing that out. This is where a coach comes in handy, right? And this is not step 5. Some people argue, well, it's not really a necessity. And that's true. There's a lot of people who, for example, I'm reading Isaacson's biography on Elon Musk right now. Well, Elon Musk, didn't hire a coach or ask somebody to help speak into that. He just kind of took off and he ran with it, and he's gifted with that and he's brilliant. And so it works for some. But I think once people go through these 4 steps, a lot of times there's still a great deal of discouragement of just, well, I still don't know what to do, right? And so I would say invite someone in to speak into that, who goes, oh my gosh, I see this. Like, this is great. We got your passion. We got kind of what you found worthwhile and the major themes of your life. And you've talked to other people. Now let's connect the dots here and let's lay these things out, right? In a way that you can present them and cast this vision to people, because I would bet that if you spend the time going through steps 1 through 4, you've got everything that you need there. But sometimes it's really helpful to have someone go, okay, here, I think this is what I'm seeing. And I think if you just kind of look at it this way, present it that way, now you're off and running, right? And so you're not going to waste an ounce of your time, 1 second of your time, by going through these 5 steps. And they can only help you, right? And it is work. It is work to set aside the time to do that and think through those things and process those things and internalize those things and figure out how to say those things. But I did all this myself. And actually, the most helpful part for me was that very last step. Was I actually went out, I sought out someone to help me. And I said, look, here, I'm happy to pay you for your time, but please help me kind of look at all this together. And it was a tremendous help. It was a tremendous help. It was probably the thing that finally got me over that hump of going, okay, I think I know who I am, where I'm going, and how to get others to come along with me. So I hope that was helpful. That last step, step 5, I'm going to put, as I mentioned in episode 34, I'm going to put my contact information and Calendly link. If I can help you, free consultation, if I can help you kind of think through and process through these things, book an appointment on the calendar, send me an email. I would really, really love to help you, because inside of everyone, every leader, is something there that you have to offer to the world that's unique to you. And I promise you, there's plenty of other people that want to come alongside you and help you and serve with you and help bring that vision to life. But you got to do the work to figure out what that vision is and where are we going and what's unique about how we are getting there together. So 5 steps to help you envision the future and bring it to reality. Hope that was helpful for you. Next episode 36, coming out on the 5th of August, we'll have an interview I'll surprise you with who it is, but really, really fantastic leader. Someone that I've served with in a military sense for several years, have a lot of respect for, and I know no matter what industry you're in, they'll be able to speak truth and wisdom into your life. But God bless you in the work that you do. If I can help you at all, please do not hesitate to reach out. But have a great week. God be with you as you continue to serve and lead, and we'll see you next time.